Welcome to SMALLab, an embodied learning environment. Today, you're going to learn how to work with a scenario called Lightwaves with your students. In this scenario, two students will work together to take a wave and bring it up into the visible spectrum here. They'll be mapping the concept of a wavelength with the symbol of nanometers and working collaboratively to bring the wavelength up to the top of the floor. You as the teacher will have the clicker in your hand and you can advance the scenario, pause it, or reset it. The object of play in this game, the scenario, is to pick up the color on the floor and make sure that you have the right wavelength, picking up the colored cube. It will jump into the center of the wavelength when it's correct. And then you have to collaboratively work with your teammates to bring that color up to, whoa, we're getting off, now we're perfect, up to the spectrum up here where you drop it and it will pop into place where it lands on the spectrum. So one thing you can do with the students as well is we'll have just the wavelength color show up without this box, and then the students have to predict the number of nanometers that will be in this certain wavelength. So for instance, if they're only looking at this dark blue, then they would look back up at the spectrum and say, oh, it looks like it's going to be somewhere in the 350 nanometer range. And then you as the teacher can click and have that show up, and then as a class you can talk about whether that's within your tolerance range of a good prediction.